Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title of this video, we are doing a pick a card reading, and this reading is going to be about who is hating on you and how to deal with it, or why people hate on you and how to deal with it. And honestly, I've been feeling really uninspired and unmotivated to film for both my tarot channel and my main YouTube channel. So whenever I feel even the slightest irritation over something, I'm just going to take that as a sign to turn it into content. So today I was realizing or noticing that I've been getting a lot more hate comments than usual on my tarot channel, or about reading tarot in general, which I've been reading tarot for 18 or since 2018. So I am somewhat used to it, but lately it's just been like revving up a bit. And so I turned it into a pick a card reading where basically you'll see on the screen the hate comments that I have recently gotten about reading tarot, mostly them calling me demonic, them saying that I'm being punished by spirits for reading tarot, saying that the source of my mental illness and my depression is me reading tarot. Just a lot of like ridiculous, illogical things. Completely ridiculous. But I just figured this would be a good pick a card reading and to put these negative comments on display just to show you that no matter what you're doing, no matter how good your intentions are, or no matter if you are walking in your purpose and actually helping people and not harming them, there's still going to be people who hate on you for whatever reason, whether they've been brainwashed to believe a certain thing or to think a certain way, and so when they see you going against it, they kind of malfunction and they want to attack you. Or some people just genuinely have an issue with you overall. Like I said, there's no way for you to avoid people hating on you unless you just stay very small, stay very quiet, don't walk in your purpose at all, shrink yourself. That's the only way to avoid being hated on. But besides that, it's not avoidable. So the next best thing is to figure out ways to, bypass it or overcome it, which is the point of this video. So go ahead and look at the screen and look at each of the cards. I'll also include colors so that you could just choose a color if none of the hate comments resonate with you. So you could just choose a color, and then you go into the description box and you'll find the timestamp for that color, and then your messages will be waiting for you there. So yeah, I really hope that this is helpful, and let's go ahead and get into your reading. Okay, group number one, so let's go ahead and dive right into your reading. So in the middle are the cards that I pulled for the way people perceive you, meaning that they could be kind of jealous of these traits within you. Even if you can't see these traits within yourself, it's like people from the outside looking in, they see these traits in you, and it might spark a little bit of envy, a little bit of jealousy, and that could be the source of why they are projecting negative energy at you or hating on you. So the middle two cards I pulled are the Fire card and the Uranus card. So it looks like people can sometimes be very jealous of the fact that you are unapologetically yourself. The Uranus card is the Aquarius card. It's about being different, being eccentric, but also just being really comfortable in your own skin, despite the fact that you might be different from other people. And you could have this trait and not really see it as a big deal, but it actually is, because most people do not have the courage to be themselves or to go against the crowd, to not follow trends and things of that sort. I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with trends necessarily, because sometimes trends are trends for a reason, like because it's something good that's being advertised, and so people want to indulge. But I think you get what I mean. It's like when you have the courage to really go against the grain and fully be comfortable within your own skin and be comfortable with being different, that can rub people the wrong way who they themselves are not comfortable with doing that. They themselves are only comfortable when they are following a crowd or when they are suppressing who they are in order for them to be liked. So I do think that that trait in you can sometimes spark a little bit of envy. With the Fire card being here, I am also seeing that You could be someone who's very creative. The fire card is about creativity, so you might be an artist. You might be just creative in general, even if you're not like a traditional artist, like a painter or things of that sort. There's other forms of art. Like you could be really good at like the way that you dress. You could be really good at the way that you style your hair. You could be a great writer. It's all different types of ways that you can creatively express yourself, and I feel like that may spark some envy in people, especially if you have really original creative ideas that they themselves can't come up with. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that in the cards for some of you. And like I said, for some of you, you could be thinking like, I don't even see myself that way. Well, that's how a lot of other people see you. And it's funny how that works, because sometimes there could be traits in us that we think is completely normal because we have them every single day. We don't think that it's something special. But then from the outside looking in, someone can see those traits and feel some type of way about it. Or even we can have traits that we ourselves are trying to suppress, but people can still see them. Like there's certain people who, when they look at you, they can tell that you are meant to go on and do great things. They can tell that you're going to have a prosperous life, even when you in your mind, you aren't even believing that about yourself at the moment, but they can see it in you before you do. And that can cause them to start to project negative energy towards you. So just be mindful of that. So let's look at these people who are hating on you. Let's look at their energy. So we have the Chariot card in the reverse, and we have the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so the Chariot card is someone who is clearly stagnant and very unhappy with their life because they are stagnant. I feel like this person or these people, depending on your situation, it could be multiple people or just one person, but I feel like this person or these people can really be trying to pull themselves out of a kind of like a dark space, or kind of like a stagnant space in their life, but they're having a hard time doing so. And I feel like they then turn their attention towards you and project their frustrations onto you. See what I'm saying? It's like something going on internally within them where they feel stuck in life, and it's something about your energy that triggers them and reminds them even more of how stuck that they are. Like I said, there could just be certain characteristics that you have that in their mind, if they had that trait, they wouldn't be stagnant. You see what I'm saying? Let's say that this is someone who feels stagnant with their love life. They feel like they can't attract any, healthy love or healthy relationships into their life. And maybe they look at you and they see that you have a healthy relationship. Or maybe they look at you and they see that, other people are really attracted to you. And they just think, if I had what that person had, then I wouldn't be stagnant and I wouldn't be so unhappy. And then they start to project negative energy onto you even when you haven't done anything wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be doing anything offensive to make people's demons act up. Like, sometimes it's all a matter of them just being very unhappy with where they are, and you embodying some trait that makes them think, if I only had those traits, I would be further along, or my life would be better. And instead of using you as motivation to get better, they will instead try to bring you down and project negativity onto you. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for them. They're also coming up as the King of Swords in the reverse. So yeah, it's a bit of mental imbalance here. It's like the way that their brain works is not necessarily like, it's not, try to find the best way to say this. It's like they're not working within reality, because they do have the ability to overcome whatever it is that's going on. They don't have to project their negative energy onto you to make themselves feel better, but it almost feels like they have kind of given up on improving. And so this is their way of just soothing themselves and coping. But like I said, that's not based in reality, because they actually could, if they put the correct amount of work in, they actually could get the things that they desire, but they're spending so much time projecting negativity and hating on people that could actually be blocking their blessings or blocking them from growing as a person and living their ideal life. So yeah, definitely some like very self-defeating energy that I'm picking up for them, and how they just don't have the ability to control their negative thoughts in their mind about themselves, and their way of unleashing it is unleashing it onto you, unfortunately. I do get a bit of a manipulative energy from this person as well. They can be really good with their words, is what I'm hearing, to the point where they can attack you or project negative energy onto you, but then they could try to flip it around and make it seem like you deserve it when you absolutely don't. This kind of reminds me of like when you have like a dysfunctional family, and you're kind of like the black sheep of the family, and the certain family members will like attack you and things like that. And then when you try to defend yourself, they will turn around and make it seem like you're the one that's being aggressive or you're the one that's being abusive. Like someone who's just very manipulative, and they can really like twist your mind around and sometimes convince you that you are the person that's in the wrong when you're actually not. You see what I'm saying? Be very careful of that. I don't like that energy at all. And again, this could be different people depending on, who's ever listening to this. This could be family. This could be a friend. This could be people at your job. This could be people on social media. Just take it as it resonates or as it applies. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling manipulative energy on that side from this person or these people. So what can you do to overcome this type of energy, this hating ass energy? So we have the Strength card and we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. So the Strength card is pretty straightforward. This is basically saying to stay very grounded in who you are. Don't allow these people or this person who's projecting negatively onto you, don't internalize it and allow yourself to think that you're the issue, that you're the problem. Also, don't try to shrink yourself as well, because that can happen when you constantly have people hating on you and jealous of certain traits that you have. It can make it so that you want to shrink yourself. You want to not be seen. You want to not be heard. You want to not, ruffle any feathers. You're walking on eggshells. Basically, these cards are advising you not to do that, to stand in your power, to continue to be exactly who you are, and don't let any of these types of people make you feel like you're the problem, or that you're the issue, or that you have to back down or make yourself small just to make them feel more comfortable. You see, just being very grounded and very true to who you are, and removing yourself from these types of people if they continue to project this negative energy onto you. Like, yes, it is important to defend yourself and not avoid conflict all the time. Like, sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. You just have to. But if you have the opportunity to get away from these people, I would say to do so, because the Two of Cups is here in the reverse. These are not the type of people or the type of person who you want to every day be defending yourself against, sticking up for yourself every day, on defense every day. You don't want that. It's just not good for your nervous system. It's not good for your mental health. It's just not. So if you can remove yourself from these people or from this environment, then definitely do that. And in the meantime, like while you do have to be around them, you just have to make sure that you are standing very firm in who you are, speaking up when it's necessary, but also knowing when to pick and choose your battles, and knowing when to not even give them the energy or entertain them, or not even give them a response at all. You see what I'm saying? So the Devil card is also here. So what I'm feeling with this Devil card is, like I said, sometimes you are going to have to speak up for yourself. This is like the card of, I'm getting the energy from this card of like you having enough, you ignoring all the negative energy and things like that projected onto you for the most part, but then finally it will reach a point where you will just have enough. And the Devil card is saying that it is okay to stand up for yourself when it is necessary. And that's sometimes frowned upon. Like, people will tell you like, oh, just ignore it. Don't give them your energy, which I agree with to a certain extent. Like I said, you have to pick and choose your battles. You have to know when someone is purposely trying to provoke you to get a response, and leaving them on red or just ignoring them. You have to know when to do that, but you also have to know when enough is enough and it's time for you to speak up for yourself and on your behalf. And don't be afraid to do that. And I also am seeing with this Devil card too, is that if you do choose to stand up for yourself against these types of people, make sure that you're doing it in a very authoritative way. You don't want to stoop down to their level. Like, if they're throwing out name calling and insults, you don't want to stoop down to that level. You want to address them in a way that's very mature, very adult. Speak to them as if you were speaking to a child, not in a way that is going to escalate the situation necessarily, but in a way where you are just not stooping to their level and you are not entertaining their foolishness. Like, for example, I'll get certain comments on my YouTube channel that will just be really childish, like throwing out insults and stuff like that. And I will, if I do respond to it, I will say something along the lines of like, please practice self-control or you're going to have to be removed from the comments. Like, please practice self-control. I don't want to have to block you. So you see what I'm saying? It's like, come from an authoritative place where you're clearly sticking up for yourself. You're clearly setting a boundary, but you're not stooping down to their immature level and getting entangled in that type of energy. You see? So the Devil card here also talks about success because it's the Capricorn card. So this could also be like that, how that saying goes, the best success is the best revenge is success. I'm kind of getting that from this card too. Like simply going and focusing your energy on living your best life and removing yourself from these types of people will always be, the best revenge, rather than having to constantly go toe to toe with them and end up miserable like them. You see? So that is it. I really hope that this was helpful, guys. Okay, group number 2. So let's go ahead and dive into your reading. So in the middle, we have the Sun card and the Cancer card. And basically, these two cards are what people see in you, like certain traits that they see in you that they might become envious of, or that they might be a bit jealous of, because that can be a real source of why people project negative energy onto you. It usually is some layer of envy that's happening there. So yeah, these two cards are basically showing you how people see you, and the jealousy that could be surrounding that. So the Sun card is here and the Cancer card in the reverse. So with the Sun card being here, I feel like you're just someone who naturally stands out. Like you don't really have to try. It's just something that, like, it's just naturally there. Like when you walk outside, the sun is everywhere. You can't avoid it. It's not something that you can just ignore. It's something that's right there in your face. And I feel like that is kind of your energy. Even if you are a shy person, like you could be a very timid person, but you could still stand out. Like your energy still stands out regardless. You might notice when you walk into like a room, people like stare at you and you're kind of like, what are they looking at? It's just your energy that just naturally stands out. And I feel like some people could be a bit envious of that. They can hate on you for that. We have the Cancer card in the reverse. So the Cancer card to me talks about, possibly going through difficult situations, like difficult emotional situations, but somehow you manage to come out on top and you manage to shine anyway. And trust me, that really pisses people off. Like when people have gone through similar experience as you that broke them, but you manage to get up and make something out of it, like you manage to overcome it or be positive about it in some way, or you wear it very well, that will infuriate people because it will make them feel like they are like they're weak, or it'll make them feel like, how come they can go through this exact same thing and look at how they turned out and look at how I turned out. Like they can start the comparison game like that, which I feel like is just can be very hurtful, because even when people are wearing their trauma well, it doesn't mean they're not traumatized. Or just because people are wearing their pain well doesn't mean they're not in pain. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like people don't understand that about you, or that could be something that they're envious of. And you could, kind of be thinking to yourself, why would anybody be envious of this? Why would anybody want to go through what I went through? But it's not about what you went through. It's about the way you carry it and the way that you carry yourself that people can be jealous of, or they can envy. This will also talk about you being someone who is hard to get close to, because the Cancer in reverse is kind of like, someone who's always in their shell and very hard to get close to. So some people could want to get close to you and you're not that open to it, or you're not that receptive to it, and people can take that really personally, even though it's not personal. They could take your rejection very hard, especially if they from a distance see that the people who you are close to, like you could be a really good person to them, you could be like a good friend and things of that sort. And some people want in on that. They want in on that energy, and you could be the type of person that just doesn't, like, you just don't open up to just anybody like that, and they could take that offensively. Like people can really start hating on you simply because you have rejected their advances, and I do see that for some of you. So let's look at their energy now, the people who are hating on you. And this could be people, this could be just one separate person or one individual person. This could be coworkers, this could be friends, family, take it as it resonates. So their cards are coming up as the 5 of Cups and the Fool card. All right, so this person or these people are definitely in a state of grief. It's like they have lost something important to them and they're not coping with it very well. It looks like instead they find things to hate on other people for, or bash other people for, to distract them from their own grief, if that makes sense. There's like some unprocessed grief that I'm feeling. And the way that they're handling it is not in a healthy way. It's in a way of trying to bring you down or projecting negative energy at you. I'm wondering if they lost something valuable to them and you remind them of that in some way. Like, let's say, for example, they had a spouse who rejected them, or they had a spouse who broke up with them and they took the breakup really hard. You could be someone who reminds them of that spouse. Or they could look at you and say, they could look at you and see that you recovered so well from one of your breakups and they see that they haven't. It's like that sort of thing, like grieving over something and you being a reminder of that grief and them kind of lashing out at you as a result or trying to put you down as a result. The Fool card is also here. So I feel like for some of you, the people or the person who hates on you is someone who has continuously tried to change their life, or they've continuously tried to do better and they keep failing, or they feel like they're failing and they're taking those frustrations out on you. I'm going to pull one more card for that. Let's see. Yep, Nine of Wands. Yeah, this person or these people have been through a lot. Doesn't make an excuse. Like, it's not an excuse for them projecting negative energy at you, hating on you, mistreating you. It's not an excuse. But I do see that this person has gone through a lot in life. They have constantly tried to overcome what they have gone through. And it's literally just not working. Or they don't feel like it's working. So they could have just kind of given up on building a positive life for themselves. And instead, their outlet is to hate on you, project onto you, and things of that sort. And it's not even just you. I feel like they do this to other people as well. It's not even a personal thing. It's like whoever comes along and just reminds them of their own misery or their own shortcomings in some way, they just start projecting and being very negative and mistreating the person. And again, not an excuse. Their hurt is not an excuse, but I am seeing that here. With the Knight of Swords being here in the reverse. Okay, yeah, this is someone who is also very young-minded and very emotionally immature. They don't know how to handle their emotions, especially emotions like jealousy or envy. They really don't know how to process that correctly. And so they handle it in a very immature way. Picking on you, mistreating you, talking about you, things like that. They handle it in a very, very immature way because they don't know how to handle it any other way. This is someone who's just very mentally and emotionally immature, which is probably a result of the things that they have experienced. Because like I said, I do see that they've had kind of like a hard life. So it's like arrested development. Like they didn't fully grow or mature as a person because of the things that they've experienced in their life. And the way that they're coping, like I said, is by really just lashing out and just not treating you very well is what I'm seeing here. I do also see that some of the things that they say to you are the things that they have internalized within themselves. And so they're trying to project it onto you, get you to adopt whatever they feel like they are, so that then they no longer have to feel it. Like if they feel like they are worthless inside, they will probably try to project that onto you and convince you that you're worthless to make themselves feel better. It's like they're trying to transfer their negative self-voice and project it onto you so that you can carry it, which is disgusting, but that's what I'm seeing here. So yeah, that's kind of in the mind of the people who, or the person who is hating on you and mistreating you. In terms of how to deal with this situation, we have the Four of Cups and we have the Six of Pentacles. Okay, I do feel like these cards are saying to kind of take pity on this person, to think back to a time where you were not feeling good at all, like to a time where you were extremely hurt, or you were at rock bottom, or you were at a very low point in your life. Just remember how that felt. And even though you may not have handled it the way that they are handling it, like maybe you didn't start lashing out and mistreating people and stuff like that, maybe you didn't handle it like that, but if you can relate to the feeling of just feeling very, very low and kind of connect it back to them, that's exactly how they're feeling, and that's what's causing them to act this way. And again, it doesn't make an excuse for them. It doesn't mean, give them a pass. Definitely not. But I think it'll kind of help you to feel less attacked, or just to help you feel like you are not internalizing that energy by just remembering a dark space in your life and remembering that they are also there, except they feel hopeless and they feel like they can't get out of it, you know? And again, it doesn't make an excuse. I do still say that if you need to stick up for yourself and defend yourself, I think that you still should. You can still set boundaries with people and cut people off while still having some level of empathy for them in order for you not to internalize, the things that they've been doing, or the way that they have been hating on you or mistreating you is what I'm seeing here. We also have the Three of Cups, the Three of Coins. So what I feel like the Three of Coins is also saying is to focus very, very intently on your life. Like, make your life very intentional, build the type of life that you want for yourself. And these types of people, like them hating on you and throwing negative energy at you, it will affect you less and less, because you'll actually be living the life that you desire. Your days will be filled with things that make you happy, surrounded by people who make you happy, and their negative energy will not be able to reach you the same anymore. Like, yes, it might affect you from time to time, but it won't be as bad. Like, for example, let's say that this hater that we're referring to is your mother. Very unfortunate, but it's reality. Some people's biggest haters are their mothers. Let's say this hater's your mother. She never wants to see you do good. She says certain things to you that trigger you and make you feel bad, right? If you were to go off, focus on your career, focus on finding a good spouse, you end up, getting your dream job. You end up getting your dream spouse. You end up starting this beautiful family. Yes, your hating ass mother is going to still affect you at times when she says certain things, but it won't be as much because you'll be living your best life. You see what I'm saying? And that's a really good way to offset, this type of negative energy that people like to project onto you when they're hating on you, when they're envious and jealous of you. Like, basically take pity on them, empathize with them, but also stick up for yourself when necessary, remove yourself when necessary, and just focus on living your best life and surrounding yourself with people who, you love. Focus on long-term happiness and stability. Focus on building that ideal life for yourself, and the negative energy will not be able to impact you as much, is what I'm seeing here. So that is it. If you feel drawn towards any other pile, you can feel free to go and watch, because it might resonate with you. And if not, I will see you in my next reading. Bye. Okay, group number 3. So let's go ahead and dive right into your reading. So the middle cards that you see on the screen are the traits that you have that other people might be a bit envious of, or that might bother other people. And that could be the reason why they are mistreating you or projecting negativity onto you or hating on you. So let's go ahead and see what messages come through. So we have the Libra card and we have the Mercury card in the reverse. So what I'm seeing in these cards is that you could be someone who's very big on justice and you really don't mind calling people out. Like, when you see something that's unfair, you're most likely going to say something about it. And some people can be very uncomfortable with that, especially when they are the culprit. Like, when they're the ones who are doing something wrong and you're calling them out, they could start to have a lot of animosity towards you because they don't want to see the error in their ways, or they don't want to have to change their, toxic way of doing things. So they instead turn it into you being the problem. This could be very, or this is something that's very common within like dysfunctional families. So I'm wondering if this is like your family members who are hating on you or projecting negative energy at you, because sometimes in dysfunctional families, the one person who speaks up and speaks out against, the things that are not right, they usually do start to get hated on by the rest of the family. The rest of the family is mistreating them, being negative towards them, speaking badly about them, things of that sort. So I'm feeling like that could be your energy for some of you listening. This could also be, though, that you could have like a lot of friends or like a lot of people who admire you, or a lot of people who respect you or like you or something along those lines, because Libra is the card of relationships. And so they could be jealous or envious of that. It could be a specific relationship that you have that they could be a bit jealous of. Like if you have like a really close relationship with like your best friend, some people can look at that and be envious of that, believe it or not. If you have a really good relationship with your spouse, some people can look at that and be envious of that as well. So I'm getting a couple different messages, so just take, whichever ones apply to you. I am also seeing here though that there are some people who find you very hard to figure out. Like you could be someone who, like, if the person's not in your close circle, you're not going to really show yourself to them fully. Like you're not going to be too open to someone that's not in your inner circle. And you'll be surprised at how some people take that as rejection, especially if they want to be in your inner circle and you don't want that because you don't really know them like that, or maybe you don't really like them like that. You'll be surprised at how they can turn that rejection into now disliking you and projecting negative energy at you. Even if they didn't, I'm getting a weird message, even if they didn't necessarily tell you that they wanted to be friends with you, they could look at you from a distance and want to be friends with you, and in their mind they're like, oh, that person will never be friends with me, or they would never want to talk to me. Or maybe they want to date you from a distance, but they're like, oh, that person would never date me, and they'll internalize that rejection before you even reject them, and they could start really projecting negative energy at you. I know it sounds really weird, but I've definitely seen it happen. So yeah, there were a couple of messages that came through there. Just take whatever resonates, but I do feel like there is a bit of envy that is there, or someone who is lacking in accountability, and so when you call them out, they see you as an enemy. Okay, so let's look a little deeper into their energy. We have the 10 of Cups in the reverse, and we have the 9 of Swords. Yeah, I'm strongly feeling like for a lot of you, this is your family members. I just keep getting like a family vibe, or like maybe like a group of friends, like something like that. But what I'm seeing here is that these people, or this person, depending on, your situation, they are not very satisfied emotionally. And when I say satisfied, I mean they feel lonely overall, because the 10 of Cups is here in the reverse. This is someone who maybe they found happiness like within themselves, or maybe they found contentment within themselves, but they never found it with other people. This will be like someone who has like a really, really good career and they're financially very well off, but then they're very lonely because they don't have any friends or they don't have any family. Or this could be just, like I said, someone in general who's just very unhappy because they just don't have the love in their life from other people that they would want. And that's not an excuse for them to mistreat you, but it's just, more of an explanation. That's why I said for some of you, it's like they want to actually be friends with you, or they want to be in your inner circle and they can't, or they are just jealous because they see how other people love you and they don't have that in their life. Yeah, so that's why they mistreat you, hate on you, send you evil eye, negative energy, and things like that. I also do think that they are suppressing the fact that they are lonely. They're not facing it. It's like, instead of admitting to themselves, I'm an extremely lonely person, I'm miserable, and anybody who reminds me of that, I'm going to be harmful to them. Instead of them sitting and admitting that, because that would take a lot of emotional maturity, instead they are suppressing that feeling and just kind of like taking everything out on you. So they're going to be in this energy for a while because of the suppression. Like, you have to be aware and acknowledge the deep-rooted issues before you can actually shift your energy. And this person is not going to do that, because I just feel like they are continuing to suppress it instead. They don't want to face it. They don't want to make the changes that's necessary to fix their life. So instead, they want to bring you down and mistreat you. It's quite sad. Also on their end, I am seeing the 5 of Swords. Okay, so the 5 of Swords talks about having a conflict with someone. Like I said, I really am wondering if this is a family member or like a friend who you called out on something and they feel defeated by it, or they feel animosity toward you even though you didn't say anything wrong. I feel like that's for a specific group of you though, but I'm getting that storyline very clearly in my mind of like you seeing something that you don't like and you calling the person out, and suddenly you're like public enemy number one because of the fact that you called them out. But if that's not the case, I just feel like this is a person who just feels like defeated, who has felt defeated a lot in life, and for some reason it's like your energy reminds them of feeling defeated. It's very weird. It's like, if you, again, going back to what I said about the friendship thing, let's say that you have a lot of friends that love you, and let's say this person has had a lot of friends betray them. That defeat that they felt, or that betrayal that they felt from their friends, they can look at you and feel that same betrayal because you have good friends. You see what I'm saying? It's not something that you are doing wrong. It's like this person feels defeated, whether it's the one storyline where you have confronted them about something, again, you didn't do anything wrong, or if it's the other where they just look at you and want certain things that you have because they just feel like their life would be better if they had it. They felt like their life would be better if they hadn't experienced whatever defeat that they had in the past. It's like looking at you, they are reminded, and they want to mistreat you and bring you down. You see? So yeah, these types of people are very dangerous. I would say if you can get away from them, you should. The energy that I'm getting is dangerous energy, only because I'm getting like sabotage energy. Like the other piles, yeah, it's like people who are hating on them, but this pile, I'm getting more sinister energy, like the type of person who will literally try to sabotage you. Like if you're in a romantic relationship and they see you in it, they will literally try to like sleep with your spouse. Like that's the energy that I'm getting from this person. Just be mindful of this. Cut people like this off and out of your life. These type of like frenemy energies that I'm seeing here. Because for some of you, this is like a frenemy, or these are frenemies who you're in a group of friends, but they clearly have some sort of animosity towards you. They're clearly always trying to make you feel bad. These are the type of people that will sabotage you. Trust. It'll go far beyond just them being petty and saying little petty things. It will go to them taking action to actually take you down. So you have to be very mindful, and you have to cut these people out of your life whenever intuitively you feel like they are treating you this way. Because it can be blatant, they can be blatantly mistreating you, or it can be very underhanded to where they're doing it passive aggressively, and you have to use your discernment and your intuition to know when they're doing so. So in terms of overcoming this energy or not letting it affect you or getting past it, we have the World card in reverse, and we have the Temperance card. All right, yeah. Like I said, I just feel like for this pile, I'm getting such specific messages about you being in a cycle with these types of people. Because some of the messages I was getting was about, like, it could be complete strangers that are hating on you. Like, they never talked to you a day in their life, they're hating. But for some of you, for this pile, I feel like this could be an actual person who was in your inner circle or who you were close to. And you could still be stuck in a toxic cycle with them, or a karmic cycle with them. This may be somebody who you have to cut ties with in order to end this cycle. This could be like a spiritual lesson on discernment and knowing when someone is envious of you and when they're not for you, like, and how they really can bring down your energy and block your blessings if you keep them around. I'm getting it. That's really specific, but I'm getting that for some of you. Let me pull one more. Justice card. Yeah, this is, the Justice card. Evening, balancing out the scales, cutting off anybody who treats you this way, sticking up for yourself when it's necessary, and things of that sort is what I'm seeing here. Also, though, this could also mean that this type of energy being projected at you, this is like a spiritual test. It's like the universe's way of trying to teach you to be very confident in who you are, and to not let anybody's outside energy projecting onto you, to not allow that to disrupt your inner peace. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that it's justified. Like, I'm not saying, oh, these people are bullying you and being terrible to you. It's just, it's a spiritual lesson. it's something that you invited into your life. I don't subscribe to that. I think that's actually really cruel, especially when you are the victim of a situation, because these types of people, these envious types of people, they can get really out of hand and it can become very abusive. So no, I don't subscribe to that, but I do think that this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for spiritual growth where you'll be able to really stand firm in who you are as a person, to validate yourself a lot, to speak life over yourself in order to kind of offset these things that these people or other people are saying, or the negative energy that they're trying to project at you. It's like you building a closer, stronger relationship with yourself, you developing a really positive internal voice to encourage yourself. It's going to help offset some of this negativity or this mistreatment that they may have towards you. Especially if you're someone who's used to being mistreated, like let's say in the past you've been through a lot of mistreatment. This could be like the universe's way of helping you to shake free from that energy so that you know that you deserve better than to be, mistreated like this. Because for some of us who have been mistreated throughout life, we can sometimes adopt that energy as normal, and then we can let other people mistreat us as a result. And this could be the universe's way of saying, no, like, we've had enough of this energy. Like, it's time to learn that you are worthy of better treatment and that you don't have to put up with this type of toxicity, and you don't have to internalize these things that these people are trying to say to you and things of that sort. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So the last card that I pulled is the Tower card. Again, I'm getting a specific message. Sometimes it bothers me when I get specific messages because I want the message to relate to as many people as possible, because this is a general reading, but I just keep getting specific messages. The Tower card is about making a drastic change in your life, and that could mean cutting ties with people who act this way towards you. The Tower card can also talk about you having some sort of realization through the things that these people say. Like, sometimes when someone is being hateful towards you and it triggers us, we have to sometimes analyze, like, is this something that I actually believe about myself and that's why it's triggering? That's not always the case. Like, sometimes people are just nasty with their words and it bothers you because of how nasty they are, and it goes no deeper than that. But sometimes when people are saying certain things and it really strikes somewhat of a nerve, it could be a good time for reflection and to ask yourself if this is something that my subconscious has internalized, and this is the universe's way of trying to get me to expel it. So for example, if for all your life, maybe people have made fun of you because they call you stupid, right? You're not really stupid, but people have bullied you and mistreated you and kind of convinced you that you are stupid, right? And you've internalized that. And now as an adult, this hating ass person can come along and be like, yeah, you're just stupid. And it can really like trigger something in you, even if it's been years since somebody called you that. It could trigger something in you that reminds you of when people used to bully you and call you that. And it's like now the perfect opportunity to heal those wounds because now they've been brought up to the surface. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes these hating ass people, these hating ass individuals, they can actually be an ally to you. You can use them for your growth. Not saying that it's an excuse, not saying that it's a good thing that they came into your life and decided to be like a jackass to you. Definitely not a good thing, but you can use it to your advantage when it comes to your growth and your evolution. So that is it. I really hope that this was helpful, pile 3. And if you resonate with any of the other piles, or if you felt called towards any of the other piles, you can go ahead and watch them and it may resonate. And if not, I will see you in my next video. Bye. Okay, group number 4, so let's go ahead and dive right into your reading. So the first 2 cards I pulled are the middle cards, which basically show how other people perceive you and the things that they may be a bit envious of, a bit jealous of, and could be the reason why they are hating on you, mistreating you, and things like that. Okay, so the 2 cards that I pulled are the Neptune card and the Sagittarius card in the reverse. So immediately what I'm hearing intuitively is they're faking it, meaning that you have certain traits that other people really admire, and the people who hate on you, they are trying to convince themselves that it is fake. because they feel threatened by whatever these traits are that you have. It's like they feel like they can't reach a certain level, or they can't become their ideal selves, so they look at someone who they consider ideal and they say, no way, they're faking it. Like if you're someone who's a very nice person and therefore a lot of people like you because you get along well with people, you're nice, they could be thinking, no, they're not that nice in real life, they're just putting on a front, just to manipulate people into being friends with them. And that could come from their own insecurity of them not believing that people like them for who they are. So they themselves have to put on a mask and they have to act like they are someone else. And by mask, I mean they have to put on like a fake persona in order for people to like them. And so they see you kind of being yourself and people liking you for it, and they just get very upset and they're like, no, this person's obviously faking, but you're not faking it. We have also the Sagittarius card that's here in the reverse. And so the Sagittarius card in reverse can go both ways. This could be that you are someone who really speaks your mind. Like you're not afraid to speak your mind. You're not afraid who you're going to offend whatsoever. And this person or these people who are hating on you, they may take offense to that. Like maybe you've called them out about something that they did, and they now don't like you because of it. Even though it's not personal, you are going to call out anytime you see any type of like mistreatment or injustice and things like that. You're going to speak it because that's Sagittarius energy, even if you're not a Sagittarius. And I feel like this person doesn't like it, doesn't like being called out. Even if you didn't call them out directly, they could have just got hit in the crossfire. Like when you are calling out cheaters and talking about how terrible cheaters are, you hate cheaters, even if you're not talking about them, if they know that they're a cheater, they could feel kind of like personally attacked. Like, the saying, a hit dog will holler. It's like that. Like they could feel called out by certain things that you don't approve of, or that you've blatantly like spoken about not approving of. And they could kind of dislike you for that, which again, that's not your problem. That's their problem. But on the other end of this, you could also be someone who actually doesn't say much of anything. Like you just kind of observe your environment and remove yourself accordingly. So it could go both ways. This could be like you speak out a lot and they feel some type of way about that, or this could be the opposite of where you don't speak out at all and you see something that you don't like and you just remove your energy. Like you just remove yourself from the situation, and they could be really bothered by that. They could be bothered by the fact that you choose to protect your peace and to not engage with their nonsense. That can actually cause them to spiral a bit and make you an enemy in their mind, even though you are just trying to protect your own peace of mind by not engaging with their nonsense. It's like someone who purposely tries to say things to provoke you, and instead you just kind of give them like that look like, ew, I'm not even gonna like entertain this, and then you walk away, or you look at them like they're stupid and you just walk away. That can make people actually really hate you because they are wanting you to respond, because they're wanting to kind of drain your energy by you responding to them. So it could go both ways with these people who are hating on you. I'm seeing both things. Also, what I am seeing is that you might be someone who's very attractive. Like maybe you post really nice pictures online. Maybe you dress really nice, or you really keep yourself together. That can cause a bit of envy in people as well, which is ridiculous because it's really shallow, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So let's look deeper into their energy. So we have the 7 of Cups and we have the Empress card. All right, so this person is very confused about who they are as a person. They don't have a real identity. And this could be one person, or this could be multiple people, depending on your situation. But yeah, I'm seeing that they don't have a stable sense of identity. They don't know who they are. They don't see any positive traits within themselves. And so they basically try to confuse you about who you are. Like they don't have a stable sense of identity and self-worth. So when they see you have it, they want to confuse you and try to make you feel like you're something that you're not. You see what I'm saying? Like if you know you're a good person and they can see it too, they'll instead try to project negativity onto you and tell you that you're not a good person and try to convince you that you're not a good person. It's like they're trying to throw you into the same identity crisis that they are in. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for the people or the person who mistreats you, hates on you and things like that, their own confusion about who they are and not feeling good about who they are as a person. I do also feel like this person just doesn't get enough love in their life. Like the Empress card in reverse is someone who just feels very abandoned or feels very neglected, and that can cause them to act out and kind of project that feeling of lovelessness or worthlessness onto other people. You know, that's what I'm seeing. And again, that's not an excuse for them to act this way towards you, but I am seeing that for some of you, like this is a specific message. This person has very severe issues with their mother. They have a very deep mother wound, being rejected by their mother, being mistreated by their mother, and they're just a very angry person because of it, and they don't feel good about themselves, and they try to project those negative feelings onto you. And they also could be very sensitive to criticism because of this. And that's something that a lot of people don't really know or talk about. Like when you are someone who has a very toxic mother, it can actually turn you into a very sensitive, combative person, to the point where when you're called out for something that you actually did, you start hating the person. That's what I feel like that's what's happening with them. For those of you who have called a person out on something, or you held someone accountable, if they have like a mother wound, or like they have like a toxic relationship with their mother, they could have developed a defense mechanism where they are very sensitive to criticism. Like maybe their mother criticized them a lot, and so they take your criticism as like an attack on them. It reminds them of their mother criticizing them, which is not the same. Like if you're calling them out on something, it's for good reason. But it doesn't matter, because in their minds, it's similar to when their mother used to call them out on things, and now they hate you pretty much. For those of you who it's the opposite, where you kind of just remove yourself from them when they want a reaction, that could also be triggering their mother wound of feeling ignored. It's like a child that acts out like that, wants attention from their parents, so they act out and they act bad to get that attention. It's like some of you, like they're doing that towards you, acting out to get your attention, to get you to respond, and you just ignore them, and that triggers them even more, and like now you're like an enemy to them. Again, none of it is your fault. None of it is an excuse, but these are just explanations that I'm seeing. But yeah, overall, I would say that this person just doesn't have much love in their life, and they're confused about who they are as a person. And people who are feeling that way, they are experiencing their own personal hell within, and they want to project that hell right on to you, especially if they see other people like you or love you. In their minds, like they're just really looking for a way to devalue you. So they will switch the narrative and say, well, people only like you because of the fact that you're fake, and things like that. But again, it's just them projecting. So I also am seeing the Fool card with them. A lot of emotional immaturity for sure. Like I said, it seems like childhood wounds on their end. It seems like a maternal wound on their end, because they seem to be very emotionally stunted and very emotionally immature. Very unfortunate. Honestly, I feel somewhat bad for this person, but I feel more bad for you that you have to be on the receiving end of their negativity when you aren't even the culprit, or you aren't even the one that did anything wrong, is what I'm seeing here. Also, this person can be very insecure about the way that they look. I'm hearing could have been bullied a lot about the way that they look. And so if you look a certain way, they could be jealous of that because of the fact that they were bullied. In their mind, it's like, if I only looked like that person, I wouldn't have been bullied so much. And they start to low-key hate you for it. It's very unfortunate, but like I said, it's not something that's really in your control. These are internal things that they have to work out within themselves. This is like wounding that they would have to go and seek out therapy for, and things of that sort. So I hope that this is making sense. Let's move on to what you should do about these types of people. So we have the Tower card in reverse, and we have the Knight of Wands. Again, this is the card of not engaging. Knight of Wands is like, nope, I'm not engaging with this. I'm removing myself, which I feel like is your best bet. Because for some of you, this is someone who gets off on just you responding to them. Like they're acting out, insulting you and things like that, simply so that you can respond to them. And in this case, no response would be the best response, because they're trying to like exchange energy with you. By you responding to them, it makes them feel good about themselves. So like I said, with this card, it's kind of like saying no response is the best response. Do not like resist the urge to lash out at them, or resist the urge to stoop to their level. Like, okay, sometimes I'm not a fan of taking the high road. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, sometimes people need to be told about themselves when they are continuously harassing you and just being rude for no reason to you. They need to be told about themselves. But I feel like in this case, this will only make the person happy if you do that. You see, like, there's some people who you really literally just should not engage with, because no matter what your response is, whether it be you responding to them in a very mature way or whether it be you lashing back out at them, they will get joy from it just because of the fact that you responded. These are the types of people who you have to just remove yourself from them completely. Yes, there's going to be times where you can't remove yourself, and you should speak up and set a very clear boundary. But if you can remove your energy from these types of people, it'll be even better. Also, be mindful, because I feel like for some of you, this person is trying to bait you. Like, they're purposely trying to push your button so that you can lash out, and then they can paint you as the aggressor. So this is saying to basically keep a very clear and level mind and not allow that to happen, because I do feel like this is the type of person who would do that. Like, if this is like a coworker, it's like they could be saying really underhanded things to you, or being very like passive aggressive towards you, hoping that you'll lash out at them, and that now the rest of the office can see that you're like this crazy bad person. You see what I'm saying? It's giving a little bit of narcissistic energy, not gonna lie, because narcissistic people do that. They like to provoke you until you lash out, and then they'll paint you as the crazy person or as the aggressor, and it makes them feel good and it makes them look good. So I would say with this type of person, sometimes it's not avoidable. You need to stand up for yourself, but for the most part, this type of person needs to be avoided and just not deal with them whatsoever. Get far away from them if you can. Ignore them so hard that they forget that they exist. I forget where I learned where I heard that from. It might have been on Quora. Like, when someone is purposely trying to trigger you or purposely trying to hurt you, ignore them so bad that they themselves forget that they exist, and just turn your attention elsewhere. And again, like I said, you can have empathy for this person because they're clearly in a dark space, but you still have to protect your own peace, and you can't make excuses for them no matter who they may be. So with the Six of Wands being here at the end of your reading, the Six of Wands literally talks about success. And this came up in another pile. I forget which one, but this came up in another pile about how success is the best revenge. Just going on and being successful in life and not letting these types of people with this type of energy bother you or get to you. It's like focus all of your attention onto living a successful life, whatever that might mean to you, because success can mean different things for different people. So whatever your definition of a successful life is, focus all of your attention and energy on embodying that and living that, and kind of leave these other people to their own misery, pretty much. You could send them a quick prayer if you're feeling like empathy towards them, but remove yourself and continue to live your best life, or focus on living your best life despite them trying to bring you down. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, another message about success coming through. It's truly the cleanest form of revenge. Even if you're not seeking revenge on these people, just being successful in life in general is just going to help make it so that their energy, it's harder for their negative energy to affect you overall. So that's what I'm seeing for you. I really hope that this was helpful. If you feel drawn to any of the other piles, feel free to